once again, everybody. There's that Seinfeld reference right there. My goodness gracious. In 4 months, we've gone up to 41 episodes. And a special announcement for this episode of the Tasty Twist with Sammy B. I don't know yet. It might be the last one for a little while. As I get ready for working on the mountain when we get the cold temperatures here at Okemo. But welcome to another edition of the Tasty Twist with Sammy B. I am your host and producer of the podcast, Sammy Blanchett, local musician here in Ludlow, Vermont. Thank you, as always, Okemo Valley TV for providing the platform. Shout out to Carolyn, first day on the job being the head honcho for this episode and everything. And we have some very special guests for this podcast. Owners and operators, 2 of the 3 of them at Down to the Roots in Chester, VT, Scott and Andi. Their slogan is to create a memorable and welcoming experience in a knowledgeable, wellness-focused environment with high-quality products for novice microdosers and legacy cannabis consumers. Now, speaking of fumbling over the words, I'm going to let you guys take the floor. Good morning, afternoon, guys. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Doing all right. First and foremost, I think it was a couple months ago, happy 1-year anniversary. So
thank you.
How did you come across this business model? And I know it's an ever-growing business in general, not just in Vermont, but kind of all across the country, right?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Down to the Roots actually started as a CBD shop, actually in my cafe that I have down in Chester, Southern Pie. And it started off as a CBD and chill corner. And it was all about getting everybody the knowledge and the education behind all of the cannabis for medical purposes and to help people, because it helped me for my medical reasons for having bipolar disorder.
Oh, okay. I actually did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow,
And we're now continuing this legacy of education and focus on health and wellness, now with THC added to the business model that Scott started.
Right.
And as many of your viewers might know, we tried to do this in Ludlow.
Yes, absolutely. And Scott, I just a little location history. So, are you from Vermont originally?
Yep, I'm original from Vermont,
Leslie also too.
My wife's actually from the South.
From the South, yeah. And Andi, you're from Connecticut, right?
Originally New York and Connecticut,
originally New York, okay.
But have been owning up here and enjoying for over 20 years.
Right.
And my wife Meredith, our third partner and owner, she and her family skied here in the 80s. She introduced me to Okemo. I had never heard of it. I skied Killington, came here, met Ludlow, and that weekend I was looking for real estate.
And you don't hold grudges between the 2 ski resorts, right?
Not at all.
Not at all, yeah.
Not at all.
You just take it with you're healthy to ski, and we go from
Absolutely.
there.
Absolutely. We've been known to get different tickets at different places for different times.
That's awesome, yeah. So obviously, kind of getting into why you're in Chester here. So obviously for better or for worse reasons, it's obviously got to be some aspects of business development in Vermont. Some towns are more hesitant than others, but in this particular field, it had to be a couple of years in the making as far as like actually getting a set town and location in the works, right? I would imagine.
So a big part of that was when the CBD shop was going, I actually ran to the town and actually had them to do an opt-in vote, which in the state of Vermont, your town has to be opted in to have a dispensary in your town. And I fought, got the signatures, and won by about 53 votes.
Wow.
Which was a very big success, because a lot of the people that were originally from Chester, they were all like, Chester isn't ready for this yet. This is really new. So good luck, Scott, but we don't think you're going to get through this time. But I put my nose to the grindstone and was on the floor busting the whole time and got all the votes that we needed and got the support. And also that's when I met Andi and Meredith, and they had support and actually had my back as well when we were going for this vote.
How did you guys in general first meet? Was it they came in for like breakfast or coffee at Southern Pie, or just, and then
it's a funny story.
The light bulb just like struck off. Take it away, Andi.
No, it's a funny story.
Yeah.
On Facebook, conversations occur. And while we were trying to go for probably our second vote in Ludlow after we lost the first vote by 17 votes.
Okay, yeah.
And all the businesses encouraged us to go on.
Right.
All the people, many people did petitions with us. Unfortunately, and the second homeowners, which there's so many of them in Ludlow, they wanted it, but they couldn't vote.
Right. Okay.
Long story short, after we lost the second vote, and we skew much older in Ludlow, and it's a shame because it's actually older people could potentially benefit the most from cannabis.
Right.
And we wanted to bring health and wellness and quality tested product here in Ludlow.
Right.
When that didn't go, we said, you know what? Okay, we'll do some manufacturing. But in the meantime, on Facebook, someone said, "Don't back them, back Scott and Chester." So my thought was, who the heck is Scott and Chester?
The one and only.
So we, after we had lost the second time, we did a little research. And we stalked him.
Yeah.
And we found him at Southern Pie Cafe.
And you happened to just ask for a blueberry crumble skull or something, right?
Exactly. And we, asked his name. He knew well who we were. And he had a partner at the time. So I guess that's actually where we thought, okay, we will, we'll do some manufacturing. And at one point we were speaking to Scott about, okay, if we go for our manufacturer's license, what products would you like? And he told us that he had just, lost his partner. And ding, 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 light bulb went off. And after that, we became partners. And then we brought in Mark Williams as our real estate partner.
Nice.
He owns the building. He bought it specifically to rent to us.
Right.
He's a great advisor for us. And we learned in the process. And, we did background checks on each of each other and references. And, Scott's came up stellar. I don't know about mine, but he did it anyway. Certainly Meredith's would be stellar. Right? It turns out we knew similar people, and between Scott, Meredith, and I, we have 3 very different personalities and very different skill sets. And it works and meshes wonderfully.
That can work well as a partnership. Absolutely.
Yes.
In a way, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm curious for you because your cafe Southern Pie used to be in Ludlow, correct?
We used to have a second location.
You used to have a second location in Ludlow, but you and Leslie have been well established in the Chester community in your location now forever. Did that make the finding that building, but just also the general reception, like, hey, when we got to the proof, we're going to open up. You've got a great work ethic. You're wonderful in the community. You're such a supporter. All of you are great supporters. Did that make it easy as far as like a beginning reception of like when you opened up?
You would think so, but there was also the people that were against it. Which is very common in our industry. We do have the people that are against cannabis in general.
Right.
But the trust that the community had in me and what I've been doing in the town was very well received. That people trusted me, and we talked to the town manager. She says, just make sure if this does pass and go through, that this is actually something that's really nice and it's elegant, that it's going to be here in Chester.
Absolutely. Yeah, good heads up warning, obviously, in general.
And I think we've surprised the town. We had a wonderful 420 celebration, no complaints.
The building is superbly beautiful.
Thank you.
I have to say it's superbly beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah. And the outside already was, and some of the inside, and then we were able to, we wanted an homage to Vermont agriculture.
Yeah. Right.
And this is a plant that's farmed, so we wanted to make the inside like the outside. And there's a lot of places you'll see it's a great outside, but you don't have the post and beam. And we added more, and we added hay and metal animals. Yeah. And I've been working in legal cannabis for 10 years, and I show people from other states photos of our store, and they cannot get over how cool it looks.
Have you had a lot of them visit your area yet? Like ones that have...
We're getting people through. Getting people through.
That's great. Yeah. Because sometimes as you see the photos on the internet of anything, and they're like, man, that looks absolutely amazing. Or sometimes you have those thoughts, oh, it's too good to be true. But then when you actually go inside it, they're like, oh yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And then we also, we wanted it to be a place where people were comfortable.
Yeah.
I was CFO of one of the most famous dispensaries in the world called Harborside. And the first time I went into the location, I was overwhelmed.
Wow.
So we want it to be welcoming. We want people to ask questions. You know, we greet you at the door.
Right, yeah.
And, you know, some people just know what they want, and that's great. But, you know, we've sort of organized it in ways that it's sort of by effect, maybe a sativa versus an indica.
Right.
We have a CBD corner, you know, and we try to explain it to everybody and then sort of let you be.
Right.
And it's, you know, people have been saying it's very welcoming.
Right.
And it's, you know, we're all about education. That's why we're doing this. And we appreciate what you do for the community, and we want to be a part of that.
Thank you. And that includes the efforts of the TV station.
Absolutely. Okemo TV. Definitely. Absolutely.
So I'm curious. I love the transition on that, how you were mentioning that you had a higher up title at like another company. So how is that as far as gaining that experience and perspective to then becoming a small business owner and knowing all the customer service details? You and Leslie obviously already have the experience of that, whether it's basic things like a very well-designed menu, whether it's your store or Southern Pie or holding the door open for people or the face-to-face greeting. I mean, you probably gained so much knowledge before jumping in as like the owners of a small business.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
and, you know, in cannabis, because legal cannabis is still relatively young, probably still in the initial innings, when hiring people and when I was doing investments, sometimes you often have to look at the experience outside. And Scott's had tremendous retail experience, which has been wonderful for us. Scott's had done a great job of curating a wonderful menu of flower, whereas I'm more of a vapor or edibles.
Right.
But coming from the outside and seeing things and products that are from other states, it's very state-centric because of the rules and the laws.
Right.
So each market is a different market.
Right.
You know, I was able to introduce products like we have a dry herb vape, where you can take flower, and we've got so much great flower, and usually you can't get that in other formats. You can take that and you don't have to smoke it.
Right.
And then it's just vapor. Right. And it's, you know, it's been shown to be a lot safer for your lungs, but you can then enjoy the panoply. So by having that experience within cannabis and other places, it's helped. Scott's experienced in retail outside of cannabis has helped. So it's really just sort of brought everything together, and it's meaningful.
How have the drink products been doing for you guys? Because I mean, I like those, like, you know, seltzer flavored like waters or whatever you have. Those are like very tasty. And again, having mentioned, you know, I'm not as like knowledgeable about this industry, but those are very tasty. And I'm curious how many farms that you guys do business in. I was kind of scrolling through like the website a little bit also too, and you guys have a lot of different local vendors that you use in general, right?
Yeah, so all of our vendors have to be from Vermont, but we also try to keep it so Northern Vermont has a lot more dispensaries than Southern Vermont does. As well as other licensees as well with manufacturing and farming.
Do you think it's the Burlington effect? Or,
it's a lot of Burlington.
Probably.
So the southern part doesn't get as much exposure, but we have still high quality products and manufacturers and farms.
Curious.
So that's
I mean,
focus.
they'll come down from the north. They'll just, you know, it's, you know, we've been just overwhelmed by the response and the travel from our farmers, and we've got great relationship with our vendors, and we will talk to anyone who grows in this area. We don't take everyone. We try to curate, and we try to really match people with our values. But in relation to drinks, as you mentioned, I for one have cut down my alcohol intake by a third because of THC drinks. And it's wonderful because I knew I needed to do something. I'm getting older. I don't metabolize alcohol as well. You wake up after a THC beverage evening, you don't have that hangover. And it's for those that are just used to having a drink in their hand. It makes a big difference, and we have different dosages. I mean, I've been consuming for many, many decades. I'm still a microdoser. You can get, you know, 2.5 milligrams. You get 5 milligrams. You can get 10 milligrams. You can really dose it with the beverages, and there's so many wonderful choices now.
Right.
You know, we're able to do now, if, you know, buy 3, get your 4th one 50% off, because
Yeah.
people start to think of it like buying a 6-pack. And, you know, we now bring
Right.
cannabis beverages to parties. Everybody's
Yeah.
with BYOB.
Absolutely,
Our B's
yeah.
a little different now,
Right.
and everybody is trying it. The flavors are wonderful. You know, it's something different for everyone.
Right, right. Tell us a little bit about the deals that you do for locals. You do them like a couple of days during the week, or
So every day we have local deals for anybody that's close. So we call it the Vermont and New Hampshire locals. Always get 10% off. We always offer a veterans discount as well as a senior discount. And anybody that holds a cannabis medical card gets a discount. And regardless if you're in state or out of state, we do give you some type of discount to help out with the taxes as well.
Right.
And then on top of that, we do daily deals or 420 deals.
That's great.
So from 420 to 520, whatever we have going on during the week, that becomes double. So the discounts, and these are all stacked on each other.
Right.
It really adds up.
Yeah.
So we encourage anybody who's interested, you know, take a look at our website and our Facebook page for things that are going on.
That's a good that's a good segue, because you guys are a business that has opened up in an era of time in human society where we're on our phones more than ever, and credit to you with Southern Pie with your social media presence. I'm sure so much foot traffic has probably come in the first year because of the presence on social media and people like paying attention to Facebook and Instagram, right?
Yeah, it's a
Yes
lot.
and no.
Yeah,
Go for it.
it's a lot harder when it comes to cannabis industry because we have a lot of regulations that we have to go by.
Right.
So we can't post what we really want to post.
You have to be careful,
So
right?
we've got a list of regulations that we have to go through. So where like the cafe, it's easy for us to post anything. For us, we have to have the verbiage correct. We can't have certain pictures of certain things.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to ask this question, but have you ever been audited from something that you shouldn't have put on social media?
No.
Good.
We can tell you our competitors have.
Yeah.
We want everyone who's doing it the right way to prosper.
Exactly.
You know, but we also have to, advertisements that you see in the Vermont Journal, they are first approved by our regulator, the Cannabis Control Board in Vermont. We're the only state in the union that has that.
Right.
It's to us, it's overkill. I'm not saying anything to you and your audience that I haven't said to their faces.
Sure, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I hear
There
you.
will be lawsuits about advertising because it's unsustainable and it really holds back, you know, even things that are educational, and that's what we should all be about.
Right.
Educating people
Right.
on what it can do, maybe what it can't do.
Right.
Or, you know, what maybe you should watch out for, you know, if you're taking other medicine, for example, and we were working with a nurse. The CCB, our regulator, is not allowing us to do that anymore. It's ridiculous.
Right.
But so, you know, we try to do educational things. We're going to put more on our website. And when you come in, ask questions. We're all about finding answers for you. There's so many nuances. There's so many cannabinoids
Right.
and what's a cannabinoid versus a terpene.
Right.
It's a new industry and it's a new learning for everyone. And there's more and more research being done. And we're here to help people understand that. We're limited on what we can advertise. We do the best we can.
This is probably a stupid question in a world of
There are no stupid questions.
But are there actually like online classes that people can take to educate themselves on selling this, or not just retail experience, but just learning more about this stuff? Like, are there actual like license class or like diploma classes that you can take to like continue your learning and have credentials?
Sure. So if I may.
Yeah,
So for our bud tenders are required to take certain state mandated courses, and we always mandate higher than the minimum for our bud tenders, and we've taken them also. And again, it's with this wonderful nurse and certified ganjier, Jessie Lindolan, who's been amazing and is a certified teacher. But beyond that, and you need that to be able to work in the industry. But beyond that, there's MJ Biz Daily, there's Weed Maps, there's Leafly, where these are places where people can go and learn. There's many conferences. I speak at many of the conferences. I'm going to one of them to find more vendors and more ideas soon.
You guys go to trade shows also too? Or?
Yeah, so like MJ Biz Con is a week from now in Las Vegas.
Oh, nice.
It started
You ever
very
been?
small. Yes, I was going for 10 years. I was very happy when Scott went last year. It's exhausting. It's at the main conference center, and it is football fields, like 5 or more football fields of vendors.
Including, of just
vendors.
Size-wise.
Then there's speeches.
Jeez, I went to Las Vegas Raiders mode right there. Sorry.
Right. True.
Yeah, sorry.
But it's a hoot, and there are great parties, and they call it Weed Week, and it's exhausting when you come back. People thought he was going on vacation. I'm like, no, he's working his you-know-what off.
Now, come on the music end, you got to want to go to the Sphere. That could be part of the vacation there.
The Eagles are playing.
Oh, there you go.
I'm just going to say it out loud. We missed those tickets because we had to switch who was going, and we're going to see Barry Manilow.
How old is he now?
He's still alive. We did have to check.
Yeah.
But I just figured I would know every lyric. So,
absolutely,
but don't judge us by that. Believe me.
As a more recently suffering New York Giants fan, kudos to the Eagles for having success in the NFC East.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Sorry, I felt dirty saying that, but at least we're not Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys right now. So
and we are, by the way. We're doing that brings up. We do specials if you wear your NFL regalia.
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday you get 10% off. 10%'s the big thing with us.
So good segue on top of the segue. So shout out to all the occasional events that you guys have been doing featuring myself, Max Casano, Nick Breedice. How important has it been incorporating places across the street like Maria's for voucher events for that, and Queen of the South for food catering? Just getting the local community involved is just a good feeling.
Well,
right?
and that's the number one thing we wanted the community to know, is that we're not just a pot shop or just a head shop coming in.
Right.
We're another community business, and we're here for the community, not just for our customers, but also for the businesses as well.
Right.
So if we can partner up with somebody that's going to help their business and they're help our business, then we like to partner up and do different deals. So we've done it with Maria's, we've done it with Queen of the South quite a bit. As soon as we're through winter, we'll do some more. We've got different talks.
I love the fire pit outside, by the way, too.
Yes.
By the way,
We'll probably be doing s'mores Friday night along with Chits for Maria's, so that you could, spend $30 at our shop and, get a meal ticket across the way. And, Maria's food is great, and Queen of the South has been wonderful. Right. And we've, we had Goodman's Pie. First and foremost, we're about locals. It's that, if you do business with us, we want you to be a local. We spread out when we have to.
Yeah. Sometimes a lot of people forget how important the small businesses are for the economy in general.
Absolutely.
Now, we all like those McDonald's French fries every once in a while and a Dunkin' Donuts cup of coffee, but it's so important, the local businesses. And I was going to ask, so location, do you guys find your location to be helpful on Route 103 where you are?
It is it's the second busiest road in the state of Vermont, and it's before the bend to go up 103 to Okemo.
So what's the first busiest one? 100?
I don't know.
Or 91?
It might be 91.
Probably 91.
So you're talking about the
in-state
highways versus the interstates. Wow. I actually did not know that.
So the traffic flow through there, it's really welcoming.
Wow.
So
and we get many people stop by and say, I saw your sign. Although I do have to say, we have realized that we didn't want to put up a pot leaf. We wanted to be a little more.
It's quite a creative logo, I have to say.
Down the roots, thank you. We've been told somebody thought we were a Thai restaurant. So we will.
Well, now you got to.
We will be applying for a permit for a pot leaf
or seasoning or salad dressing, right?
Exactly.
Have you guys ever been to one of those stores where they have all the different vinaigrette dressings that you can sample in the little shot glasses? I almost feel my mouth really tightening up in the sourness after a while. It's all so good, but I'm oh, I need a glass of water or something.
Well, we have a terpenes bar. Everybody comes in and they talk about maybe THC, which has the psychoactive effect and gets you high, or CBD, which has purportedly a lot of more medical effects. So THC does also. But people don't even realize about terpenes. That are in everything, pinene, limonene, that you get in lemons. And we have a terpene bar, and that's why I mentioned that, because you can go and check out the different smells and then find it in your cannabis and then figure out which of your terpenes matches the cannabis that you like, because people who aren't paying attention to terpenes are actually missing a lot of the experience that you can get without getting super high.
Right.
You know, and we're all about, let's get you what you want, but let's also
And
help you with
educate
health
people
and
on- and
wellness.
educate people on that
exactly.
also
And
as
you
well,
find
too.
a product
Yeah.
you like, keep going for that one, and it's different state to state. And maybe if we, or you know, wherever you shop, you know, doesn't have exactly what you want, look for the same terpenes in something else.
Yeah.
And this is again why we're trying to sort of educate the customer. It
Right.
seems to be my mantra of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Education is good. Speaking of educating, here's a goofy question for you. Are the munchies involved when you guys consume your products?
Usually.
What's on the menu for you both personally when the munchies?
Whatever's in the
hits?
fridge at midnight.
See, we mentioned Goodman's American Pie. I love.
Yes. Leftovers are mostly what I eat.
Yep.
Yes.
Pies and
Yes.
chips.
Goodness, yeah.
Yep.
That's why I would imagine when like Queen of the South was there, I'm sure all of that food probably hit the spot if there was.
Well, you know, the problem is when they come in the afternoon, there's nothing left by the end of the night.
Yeah.
But the wonderful thing is between Ludlow and Chester, there's so many, and in between, so many amazing restaurants. So
Yeah.
that's my munchy food.
Yeah, I love it.
Sometimes with a utensil.
Yeah, right. Not the chopsticks like China. Let's talk about your staff a little bit, because everybody there, including yourselves, are all very friendly. Is everybody kind of somewhat all in the family, or have there been like a lot of like people that you didn't know that you've brought onto your team?
Yeah, so some of our staff I've actually known for a few years because they're very local and they're really involved in the legacy market of cannabis, which, if anybody's not sure what the legacy market is the market before it became legal, and the people that actually formed what we have today for products. If it wasn't for the legacy market, we wouldn't be here and we wouldn't be able to have the quality of products that we have.
Yeah.
So our staff is actually, everybody's local. We've knew some of them we did not.
Yep.
We have never worked with any of them that we have with us. We just knew them from either going into a pizza place. Like we have one of our staff who worked still at Village Pizza.
Yeah.
So we knew her from there. And just knowing that their knowledge and their experience with cannabis from their past and their current situation.
Do you guys?
Do you have to say with a lot of employers say, and you know, that it's hard to find employees.
Yeah.
As a cannabis shop, I have to say it's not been hard for
Yeah.
us. In the offer letter, you must be able to sample product and give us reviews. We don't sell things that we don't sample ourselves.
I think there was an inquiry by some of the staff members here if samples were going to be in the fall today.
If we're legal, yes.
Right. Oh, shucks. So on that note, with getting like great help because of the type of shop that you have, I would imagine then your true focus as a three-way partnership is developing a great culture from the top and like getting people to work with you, because when that exists, then everybody's happy and then the customers are happy, I would imagine too, with their experience.
Well, and something that we also do with our hiring process is we actually involve our employees in the hiring.
Oh, wow.
So we actually do the bud tenders have to interview the people that
I like that. Bud tenders. I love that.
So they come in and they have to do the final interview, and we ask our staff, do you guys feel comfortable? Are these people you want to work with? Which is a huge dynamic to have the comfort of the family type of environment. Yeah. So people do, when they come in, they feel like the vibe is really high.
Yeah.
And then we're also, we meet every Thursday morning is our weekly meetings with staff. And while we're interacting.
That's kind of important to do in the culture
absolutely.
as well.
While we're
too,
interacting daily, hourly, by the minute. I'm also often in the back while Scott and Meredith are up front. Yep. At these weekly meetings, we impart information, but we get information and we get ideas. And a lot of our great ideas come from our bud tenders. Right. And we want to know what they think about product. We want to know what they think about, how we do things. And we're constantly tweaking. It's a total team effort. And the culture is what we all make of it. And it's about having fun and, spreading the, health and education, information.
There's that education word again.
It is again.
Yeah, there it is again.
And, it's having the customer leave our store happy. Right. And feeling better than when they walked in if they weren't feeling good. And we get a lot of wonderful feedback about that. Absolutely. I don't know what you may feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We have multiple stories that people have come in and their lives have made 100% 180 turn.
Yeah.
Dealing with cancer, dealing with other types of illnesses.
Yeah, whatever they got. Yeah. Or bipolar or whatever.
Bipolar.
Right.
Or a crappy day.
Yeah, or a crappy day. Yeah.
And one of our requirements for our staff also is, are you comfortable with talking to the customers about why you use cannabis?
Yeah.
And that gives a different personal type of interaction with the customers, and they come back.
That's a pretty eye-opening thing, actually.
Yeah. So everybody has a different reaction of why they use it. Some use it just because they want to get high, but a lot of the people are using it for medical reasons, for one reason or another, and just the connection they have with our bud tenders is excellent.
So there's been studies that the two most important reasons that people consume cannabis and shop anywhere, whether it's a legal store, an illegal store, or they grow it, it's for sleep and pain. And those are the two things we are asked about the most. Yeah. And everyone experiences those differently.
Right.
And
well, there's different levels of pain also, too. You got people that have foot pain or back pain,
Right.
Yeah.
So when we all talk at our weekly meetings, these are things that come out. We're very honest with each other, and, we'll only tell somebody else who said it, if that's okay with them. But we then share each of our experiences with our customers. And then our customers give us feedback. We now have a customer testimonial wall.
Yeah.
For people
that's
say,
awesome.
I tried this and it worked for this, because we can't, there's certain things we can't say.
It's kind of like a GX score positive review spreadsheet that you put on your wall. Yeah.
Exactly. We did a survey to ask what people want, and, we're trying to figure out what the community wants, not just what we want to sell. That's not what it's about.
I can make a side guest experience suggestion for you guys also, too. To those of you three that are comfortable with doing selfies, you should do selfies with your customers and send them to them. And
there you go.
Somehow that was a big hit on Okemo last year when I was scanning tickets, as I saw you and Meredith a couple of times. Yeah. Shout out to my winter boss, Michael Bell, who said something very important over last winter, just from a boss and an overseer of people. He goes, "Hey, I work for you guys." We compliment a manager or an owner on what they do, and he goes, "Dude, we're all in this together. I work for you guys." I think that's a very important message to give. Yeah.
I mean, we're a team, but we also consider ourselves a family.
Yeah.
We've all, since we opened, gone through some personal thing.
Yeah.
And we've all been supportive of each other.
We're all human. Everybody goes through stuff.
Owners, we're team members.
Yeah.
And it's been really helpful and really comforting. This isn't a 9 to 5. Corporate.
I mean, it is, but it's something different.
I would like that.
Yeah. All right. You ready to laugh a little bit? Because I'm kind of going to spin a fun conversation. All right. So we can joke about cranky customers or Karens, right? Every once in a while. Are some people still difficult in your retail shop? Because it is retail after all.
Yes.
So now,
Yes.
And without naming any names, what's been an eye-opening, what's been kind of an eye-open experience from why don't you have this product? God, I thought you said you were going to order it last week. What's been kind of an eye-opening experience? So, all right. I'm just curious.
Being adult use, over 21, and we assume you're consuming within the state.
Oh, fake IDs?
No.
Oh,
no. Somebody come in and talk about. Prices, unfortunately, we don't love the taxes, which is why in
who does?
We're giving all these discounts. And it's
one of the only things guaranteed besides death, right?
Exactly. And that's a guarantee I don't want.
No.
But, to have somebody come in and say, oh, I could get, on the illicit market.
Oh, and they brag about, of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whatever. And it's go to New York and do it illicit.
Fine.
And do it when it's not tested. You're here in Vermont. There's certain things. We have a company. We have regulations we have to deal with.
Of course.
We're not for everyone.
Yeah.
But don't, complain about it for 15 minutes.
Right.
And educate
especially
yourself.
To the owners. No offense. We don't we got to move on.
We're tested. It costs to test, and it's higher quality, and it's safer for you because it's tested.
Yeah.
You want to keep doing what you're doing, do it and complain about it there.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
That's just one, but he's got others, I'm sure.
And the fun part is
and then having two businesses, you probably got double the experience.
It's a blast. I go into the cafe and I'm talking to the coffee ladies in the morning that they're elderly and they want to know all about what's happening at the dispensary. It's a lot of fun.
Do you have half and half? Can I yeah.
Well, the big thing at the dispensary is that we have a market that our demand is whatever the farmers are able to grow.
Yeah.
People come in and it's been, so they come in and they're like, oh, I'm looking for this flower I got from you 3 months ago. Oh, well, sorry, we don't have it. Oh, well, you need to get it tomorrow. I'm like, well, no, they grew it and they're sold out. I have to wait until they harvest it again. So
it is hard, and we invest in a lot of inventory.
Yeah.
We have so many SKUs.
I was about to say, that's got to be a challenge,
because
to start.
Absolutely. We have people who, want high as F. And I get it, and people want that.
Your French,
I do too.
Your French was accepted on that,
Thank you.
there. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. It's hard for me. And then there are people that want the benefits from it without the high.
Yeah.
And not even CBD. So like we'll have products where it's more CBD than THC, and other people would laugh at it. It's like, oh, but it's the terpenes. Oh, they didn't educate themselves. But it's something we listen to the customers. It's something for everyone, but we are limited on what is the available supply in Vermont that is licensed at the time.
Well, like you said, it's got to be between what the state is allowing us to do, and also our monthly budgets. Sometimes like what we can do credit card wise limit. Like there's got to be like a limit on that as well too. There's all these different factors that.
Right, and just remember, no credit cards, but debit cards are good.
Yeah,
or do a matter of terminals.
Or then when you tell there's another comedian named Scott Sees. I don't know if you've ever heard the guy's name or whatever, but he wrote a book a couple of years ago about the customer is not always right, and all the things that you want to say, like just honestly to like a person as a response. So he does these videos on TikTok. He became famous on TikTok, and he would just pretend to be like the customer going, oh, hey, it's not here. Can you just check in the back? And then like you just want to say to him, can you just accept that we don't have it? The back ain't some magical. The back ain't some magical place.
I will tell you a story about the customer is right.
But not.
We gave them a refund. A customer came back and brought in a tube of something and said, I bought this at your store. It's not what I bought. And I opened it up, or she said, that's not what I asked for, and it was not something that's legal in Vermont.
It was Thai sauce,
it
right?
It happened to be cannabis. And I said, are you sure you bought it here? And I want you to know, we gave another, I believe, of that product. I am still of the belief there was a mistake in the household.
Right.
But we took it under the chin, and we said customer is right, and that person now has double of the original product at our expense.
I was hoping as I was scrolling through TikTok the other day that there would be a video of a cop finding the customer like grabbing something when they shouldn't have, because it would have been on camera. No, darn it.
We are told we have more cameras than the local banks. Some of them.
Having retail experience myself, it's definitely, and I guess it all depends on like. Human beings are all different, like walks of life. There's all different facets of human beings in life. But that first time where you get a customer just ruthlessly just reaming into you over something that you have no control over, by the way. Whew. And then it's got to be infuriating when you have to get like the managers or like the owners involved. Just be like, help, back up, please, help.
We encourage it, preferably him.
The most fun is explaining, oh, well, that's not our fault, that's taxes, that's state taxes. So we can point fingers up to Montpelier.
Right, exactly. I remember one time at Outer Limits Brewing Company, there was a guy that got like the same growler of beer, like, the sales tax went up like 1% last year. And I'm just minding my own business. I'm staying in my own lane. I'm sitting over there. I'm just like, I mean, listen, nobody likes to pay for anything, right? Deep down inside. And things are expensive. But this guy, and he was older too, not to pass judgment, but 10 minutes later, he's still talking about the same thing. And eventually I just went from laughing to just like, buddy, look. Okay, we get it. But Dylan behind the bar is just doing his job. He's trying to plug pizzas into the computer and deliver it for someone else.
Right.
I get it, but you also still ordered the beer. So you clearly want it. So at some point, can we move on to like a different,
Right.
I don't know. Obviously, is there I don't know if this is like a building maintenance question or anything, but is there further room for expansion or like growth for your business, like in a couple of years if things like go like really well as far as
So we actually have attained our manufacturer's license, so we have a commercial kitchen in the building. So our goal is to start doing some products in-house to just sell to us
gotcha.
for our customers.
Gotcha.
And then eventually we'll do that elsewhere.
Gotcha.
There's so much land that we have
Right.
that it would be easy to expand.
Right.
We're certainly hoping that Vermont goes delivery like so many other states. It's really a shame not to,
Right.
especially, how far everyone lives from stores.
Right.
You know.
Well, because I mean, again, with the clientele that we have that always come from Connecticut, New York, New Jersey,
Yep.
Boston area, Massachusetts, that it would be nice to have a distributions license in like other states, right? To be able to have your product go out into other states.
So
right?
that'll require some federal legality.
Right.
Yeah. But
Okay.
it's, the industry is changing by leaps and bounds. For us, it feels like it's not.
Yeah. Who was the pioneer for all this? Colorado? Were they kind of like the pioneer state to
Colorado
kind of
and
get
Washington State
Okay.
both went adult use first.
Yeah.
But medical is actually back from the 1990s due to AIDS in California.
Oh, wow.
And because with AIDS, people are getting the wasting syndrome, having cannabis that makes you eat isn't just the fun of me at night with my fingers in the food and,
Hummus
having
and
the
carrots
munchies.
and crackers, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it just sort of taking off from there. And there's a lot of the mythology that Ludlow people believed, that it's not safe and it's going to bring a bad element. I mean, you
Right.
should sit outside our store. It's amazing. The cops love us.
Yeah.
I mean, and we love them.
Yeah. And they'd be like, I wish I could partake with you guys. Right now.
Well, if I part
No
was-
comment.
For-
I'm kidding.
For the eclipse,
nothing to see here.
for the eclipse, we actually had
Oh, yes.
a little viewing party outside.
did you?
Just so
Oh,
could
no.
look at-
We did,
And the
and-
cops actually joined us.
Came by and we gave them,
How was it? What was the percentage of totality in Chester?
I'd say like 98%.
Yeah, 97 or 98.
Yeah.
I got
And we
the-
had our customers come out with us. We had glasses for everybody.
That was
if
quite-
you just came by.
that was
we
quite
were
the
helping you.
experience.
It really
Yes,
was.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
felt like being high, even if you weren't. And it was wonderful and incredible, and just that incredible emotional experience that a lot of our customers and we get from cannabis.
Yeah.
We have, it makes you more creative. People
So-
do art. I mean, I do spreadsheets with certain cannabis.
Yeah.
Not the heavier THC.
Yeah, not the munchie. So to pinpoint on the eclipse, because I haven't chatted with a lot of people on this in a while. You probably all saw this firsthand. The night before, how busy the traffic was coming up to Vermont.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was insane.
We
And it was
almost didn't make it back that day.
Yeah.
We were traveling from down south, like, we're not going to make it.
Yeah.
We're not going to make it. And we finally made it.
So I played on the train from Rutland to Burlington for Champlain Valley Dinner Train or Vermont Railway
Nice. System.
And with Jim Yeager and Adam McMahon, musicians I'm sure that you're very aware of and everything. And we got the full 100% totality experience on the waterfront out in Burlington on Lake Champlain.
That's amazing.
And it was amazing for maybe 30 seconds at most. You didn't need the glasses. You actually can look at it dead straight because it was completely covered. And how much darker it got it and how much colder it got it. But the second that sliver of sun came right back, got to put them right back on.
Right.
It is amazing how much more light gains back as soon as it starts getting exposed again.
Yes, absolutely.
It was wild.
Quite
man.
the
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
we were playing Dark Side of the Moon.
We were.
While it was going on. Eclipse.
So have you all ever tried that experiment where after on The Wizard of Oz, the third roar of the lion from the MGM Studios original production, you know where I'm talking about? Does this make sense what I'm about to say? There's a test.
So far, yes, but maybe not when the test starts.
So in a movie that was designed in 1939, black and white, the old company with the lion roar head production, MGM Studio, whatever that used to be, there was a theory that as soon as the third lion's roar happened, cueing into the beginning of The Wizard of Oz, that's when you start Dark Side of the Moon from Pink Floyd from start to finish. And it sinks in with the progression of the movie.
I had not heard that.
I
but
think
since
I
that's
might have
one
tried
of-
that one time years ago, but I don't know if there's an actual if it actually was real, like,
Well, you
or
take
true,
one of
that-
my favorites, Dark Side of the Moon, and Wizard of Oz, one of my wife's favorites.
Right.
And we're happy to do the experiment.
Right.
And we'll do it with cannabis.
There, yeah, and hummus and chips, yeah.
There you
so,
go.
are we big Pink Floyd fans here, by the way?
Love Floyd.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Love Floyd.
Now, you can't say Dark Side of the Moon, and I don't know all the albums by heart also too, but
Okay.
let's stick in like the era of the 70s. You can't say Dark Side of the Moon, or, all right, I'll make it even harder, because there's 3 other albums out of the 70s. You can't say Dark Side of the Moon or The Wall. So give me another great Pink Floyd album that you like out of that era.
Oh, I like, Pigs on the Wing. I mean, it's
Right.
it's
So
not an
what's
album,
the name of the album?
Yeah. Well, that's I was smoking a lot back then.
It's very it's very simple. The term groups dogs, pigs, sheep begins with an A.
Animals.
There you go. All right. Yeah. I don't have a prize to give you, but there you go.
I want a prize. I want a prize.
I want a
Come
prize.
on.
Stickers right there. Yeah.
All right.
Exposure from Okemo Valley TV. Yeah. Woo.
We'll take it.
Oh
Absolutely.
God! So obviously it's almost a 7-day-a-week job for you. Well,
Yeah.
it is. I mean, you're open to the public like 5
6
or 6
days a week. 6
right.
days a week.
But as
Yep.
business owners, you're never actually off, mentally. So, is there time in anybody's personal lives to travel? You got a family, Do you all like to travel? Do you go to different parts of the country to kind of decompress?
Yeah, we're working on that. Actually, as a team, we're working on giving ourselves some family time and some personal time to have some
Nice.
time off.
Nice.
My wife and I, we like to go down to the casinos. That's our little getaway.
Springfield, Mass, or
Springfield, Mass, or we go down to Mohegan.
There
and
you go.
Foxwoods. And
Catch a concert along the way.
Yep, we always catch a show if we can.
Nice.
So, and like last year, we went to Vegas for the conference, which is the first time we've ever been to Vegas.
Now you want to go back?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You have to say you got to extend it because it's work on a football, 5 football fields of vendors for 3 days.
And you and Meredith like skiing. So
We
do you have a
do.
favorite? Do you ever go out? Do you have a favorite place out west that you like to ski?
So we actually love the Alps.
Okay.
And so
in
we
Switzerland?
were so everywhere. So
Right.
we
Okay.
Meredith proposed to me in Chamonix.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we've been going kind of every other year. And thanks to Scott, we were able to go to the Dolomites this year.
Oh, wow.
So
That's a
it's
great
more
name.
of it. So Chemo, Killington, and Europe for us for now.
Okay.
And Scott's our COO and GM, and it's enabled us to be doing a lot of traveling. But we are working on Scott on you have to take
Yeah.
vacation.
'Cause right now
It's so important mentally and physically.
Yeah.
So when we're now working on, we're off different days, and so that having the 2 days in a row, we've discovered 1 day off.
Right.
You're not really off, and it's not enough.
Well, you got to do laundry. You got to
Yes.
cook.
Yes,
You got to
and
pay
then where do you
bills.
enjoy? Exactly.
You got to pay personal bills. You got to catch up on messages.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And since we're skiers, we'll be talking to Scott about us skiing in the morning and then coming in and
Yeah.
we'll close for him. So
And I go off to my kids' basketball game.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
So
there you
it's,
go.
travel to
you know-
different
Do they ski or snowboard also too, or
My son plays he's a basketball player.
just basketball player? Yeah.
So
Who's
he's,
his favorite NBA player?
He's a Kobe Bryant fan because
God bless.
I
God bless Kobe.
raised
Yeah.
him right on old school basketball, not the new school basketball. So
Kind of a sad similarity between Kobe Bryant and one of my favorite guitar players, Stevie Ray Vaughan, both helicopter
there you
accidents.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kobe was a game killer, though,
He
man.
was.
I'm a lifelong Celtics fan, and those big 3 days of Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen, and Kobe was just always a freaking killer, man.
Oh, yeah.
He just, yeah.
yeah, no, he's watched a lot of the docus on him and everything. So
Wasn't there a rap album that Shaq made that was
There
like
was.
dissing Kobe?
Go Shaq.
Goodness, yeah. I love like watching documentaries of Shaq, like, and every time he gets a new truck or a new home, yeah, I'm in it about a couple times a year. Yeah, I just love his smile. Yeah,
such a goof.
if I had to make a recommendation, I'll get these pair of sunglasses right in the pool right over there. I love Shaq.
That's a great impression of him.
Yeah, it is.
He actually was on the Celtics for a hot minute, for
was.
like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. With sports or anything, do you kind of let your kids figure it out? I'm sure you don't pressure them, right? You just kind of like let them figure it out.
Yeah, no,
or-
it's his passion. It was my passion before, and I coached for 20 years myself for basketball. But
Right.
he's a 6'2", 14-year-old, so
Yeah.
he's real. Like his height and his strength is where it belongs on the court.
Yeah. Did you gain a lot of experience being a coach?
Yeah, absolutely, and it also that helped out with the community outreach as well in Chester, because as soon as me and my wife moved to Chester 11 years ago, I did an outreach to the rec department to coach for Chester Rec.
How's she feeling, by the way, Leslie?
She's feeling good, yeah.
Doing a lot better, God bless the Leslie. Yeah,
she had
God
2
bless.
huge surgeries in the last 4 months, and she's doing better, and you'll see her face at the cafe now.
Yeah.
And she's coming back into the dispensary to see us.
How many years has Southern Pie been in business?
10 years.
I forget. That's awesome.
10
Yeah.
years.
That's a milestone, man.
It is awesome, absolutely.
That's a milestone. We're the I know there's like a general golden rule of, hey, any small business you get past the first 5 years, it's a beautiful thing. Was it hard the first 5 years, or did you?
Well, so for restaurants, it's the first 6 months, really. If you can make it past your first 6 months, you're going to be you could possibly be successful. But it's been a whole roller coaster. For sure, but it's up and up.
And we're hearing dispensaries are already starting to have issues. And right now there's a moratorium, a temporary moratorium on new retail licenses, because we were, as much as there's more population up north, we have a lot of dispensaries down here that are within a driving distance. And for all of us to survive, given the limits on advertising, we're just not a normal business.
Right.
The CCB saw that, and it's interesting. So we were thrilled to make it past our first year. And
so now advertising, Andy, are you just referring to like Facebook and Instagram, or are you referring to like paper flyouts also? All of it. Oh, wow.
And on Facebook,
I would say it's got to be even harder on social media. But
Facebook sees something about cannabis, they take it down.
Right. Yeah.
For following rules.
Yeah. So we can't. We would have loved to have done billboards in New Hampshire and Connecticut coming up, but our regulator has put the kibosh on that.
I will tell you this, though. Thank God we all have the gift of gab, Meredith included also as well, too. Because old school word of mouth, I don't think you could put a price on that kind of advertising.
You can. And
because otherwise, why be in business if you can't even do that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely. And, we try to do, shout outs for other businesses.
Yeah.
Sammy B, if you haven't heard his music, you must.
Oh, thank you.
We love having you play at our shop.
Yeah. I love playing there. Yeah. And by the way, inside worked well acoustically.
Yes,
dialed in at the right volume.
That's great. That's great.
Oh, that's right. You weren't feeling well that day. You're obviously back to normal. So
I don't know what normal means, but they put up with me.
Yeah.
But we're going to be doing cross promotion starting in the winter with local businesses in Ludlow and Chester.
Great.
So like you'll be able to spend a certain amount of money, bring in a receipt to us, get 10% off.
That's fantastic.
And we're going to do the same as a cross promotion back to other businesses because, and same with Chester, it's an ecosystem.
Yeah.
And we need to support each other.
Yeah.
And it's all about, like you said, word of mouth, but also letting people know that these other businesses exist.
Yeah. You guys have mentioned it's been fairly easy for staffing your part of the business, but for like hosting events, has it been challenging to get different vendors to commit to like your events and everything, or has it been kind of a mixed bag?
Well, we did have a little test farmers, little test farmers market thing that we were trying to do. But there's also regulations in towns that you have to go by too.
Right.
So you have to get certain permits from towns.
Right.
So we've had the vendors. We have farmers actually come on a regular. They come and do a vendor day inside. For our 420 event, they actually came and did a little outdoor setup, which is really awesome, which you were playing at.
Yeah.
And the vendors. So.
But for the food and for music, you guys, demands on your time. And food.
I've been happy to. I've been happy to double up a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon for a few hours.
And with food, we've had some people bail, just go silent, nothing to do with us. That's their business style. Somebody, because there was some rain, they just assumed we wouldn't operate, and that's how we've now worked out with Maria's across the street. You don't have to actually be on our premises. We can still do stuff.
Yeah, and see from my perspective, in the case of the day that it rained, not only I got to make a living and put food on the table, but it's also the mindset of, and this could be some good advice for anybody that's working on their own or like working in business. If you already have like something on the books and that you verbally like talked about, there should be like a reworking of like, hey, can we do this in here? Like, it might rain, but can we do that in there?
Right.
And I think that was cool that we're just like, hey, we can adjust on the fly. We could do that. But sometimes people are just like, I can't go. It's going to be raining. It's like, maybe you can set up in there. I don't know.
This is true. And it's interesting.
And that's my commission to wanting to keep the honor to you guys,
Appreciate
doing that.
Appreciate that very much. And the customers love it. And we're fortunate to have a big enough space where we can do that.
Right.
We can have the events. We have both inside and outside, and we just want to keep going, offering you can come and play badminton outside and when it's nice. People love the fire pit, so we'll keep up doing
cornhole.
s'mores.
I love playing cornhole.
Yeah, cornhole we've had. Cornhole.
Do you guys ever remember Can Jam? It's still around.
No, what's that?
Oh my God. It's like Polish horseshoes where you throw the frisbee and the empty bottle is on the ski pole and then you got to without any assistant. It's that might be 2 points. Sorry. By yourself, and then your other partner is on the other side. If you throw the frisbee and then they knock it and it hits the side of the frisbee, the can, that's 1 point. If you throw it up and then there's an opening on the top and the guy hits it into the top of the can, that's 3 points. And then if you get it in the slit on the side, that's game over. You got to get to 21. It's very interesting.
So it sounds like the next time you play with us, when it's nice outside, we're going to set this up.
Yeah, my dad's company, Blanchette Sporting Goods. Do you have Can Jam still at home? I'd love to buy one to get these for these guys.
We've been talking about doing like little tournaments. We'll do a cornhole tournament.
Or
and
volleyball,
you'll get a
right?
discount.
Well, you guys have a volleyball net out there, right?
Whatever it is, we'll do little tournaments and we'll give the winner, maybe each hour we'll have a different tournament. We've been talking about this and we're now going to add another sport.
My girlfriend Erica loves pickleball, so let me know when you guys have pickleball in mind.
There you go. There you go.
Bocce, croquet, horseshoes.
We have room for it all.
Yeah, horseshoes
Not
just
polo.
hurt. But horseshoes has got to hurt. Like that
We
knocks
actually
your
have
shin.
horseshoes. Nobody's picked it up yet.
You have horseshoes?
We do. It was in the back. We're moving stuff more.
Oh,
to the
I meant
front.
do you have horseshoes on here? Like, no.
Sometimes, I wish I did.
What's the thing where they've got the horseshoe shaped thing and it's like hot and you hit like the bottom of like the horse's hooves or its butt?
Oh, that's
it's turned off because you might get zapped and lose a finger. Oh, okay. All right. Guys, as we wrap things up, any, besides all the people that we've like mostly shouted out to, any specific people like that are watching this that you want to shout out to?
Well, you can.
Yeah. Well, the biggest shout out is to our community.
Yeah.
Our locals, our community, town of Chester, as well as the Okemo Valley.
Yeah.
Chester is not the only part of this community. The community of the Okemo Valley reaches far, and it's a really big area.
Yeah,
and we've got customers that come from all over the Okemo Valley, all over the Twin States.
Yeah,
so that's who we got to thank the most.
Yeah. Community support is huge.
Yeah, exactly. Them and our bud tenders. Our bud tenders they're the front line. So if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be in business, and we wouldn't have the business that we have.
Very nice.
There's two others, and I really, really appreciate this opportunity. Well, three. So Jessie Lynn Dolan, shout
4 or
out,
5.
nurse certified GA, has been doing fantastic work, and we need to work on the CCB to allow her to continue that fantastic work. Canatrolls. We are the only dispensary in the world that has a specialized vapor control system called Canatrolls in our vault.
Wow.
And what it does is it controls the water activity in the cannabis. It's made right here in North Springfield by a local company. The Sandelmans own it. Jane and Dave Sandelman, wonderful people in the community. And it keeps our cannabis fresh from farm to table to consumer.
Right.
And then we have these special cool cures also when you buy Deli Bar. And they have have great equipment that everybody should be using. We're fascinated that we're the only one, but that's on the storage side.
Yeah.
And then also we have a resident artist who's actually, we're having a Meet the Artist Day. If anybody has come in and seen our amazing art and our Down to the Roots logo in our lobby, I'm not going to give it away. Go up close to it. Go up close to that and go up to see what the monarch butterfly is.
Who's the artist?
So his name is Angelo Musco.
Oh, nice.
And Meredith wanted to make sure that I announced.
You got your notes. I like that you're paying attention to manager's notes. Yes.
Listen to your wife. Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah,
right?
ain't that the truth? You know, and I know. We all know. Yeah.
Substitute spouse, important, significant other.
Yeah.
Saturday, December 28th, people will be able to meet him.
Oh, great.
He's from Naples, Italy.
Okay.
His art is world renowned. He's got his art in I think in the Ritz-Carlton in Las Vegas.
Okay. Yep.
He's in many, many homes.
Right.
And he's a fascinating individual, and this all came together in part because of what he's doing fits with Down to the Roots, and we have these roots that were actually already art that he had done.
Oh, wow.
So it was a great fix, and he's so talented.
That's a great
He's got
connection.
great stories,
Yeah.
and how he came about his art. So he'll be coming up on December 28th at our store.
Does he have a website that folks can look at? Or?
He does, and it's probably angelomusco.com. I will
also
get
has
that for
Facebook
you.
and
That can put
Instagram,
it in
too.
your notes, maybe.
Yep,
for the
absolutely. So that way
podcast.
they know here they can put it in
and
as
then
well, too. Yep.
and it'll be
Yep.
advertised in the Vermont Journal.
Great. Great.
But it is our customers and it is our staff and it
Right.
is the community.
Right.
I mean,
I might have you look back at the notes. Any
Yeah.
other big events that you guys have coming up besides that one?
Yeah,
There's
so to
that one.
thank our
Please.
locals, we're actually every Monday,
Yeah.
going into the middle of January, we're doing a different town or a couple of towns
Yep.
are going to be highlighted to come in and get an extra 10% off just to thank our locals. So we've already done Chester and Ludlow
Yep.
and Andover. So next Monday it's going to be, I can't remember who it is. Bells Falls.
We'll
Bells
get
Falls.
you
is-
that
okay,
also,
yeah.
and it's on our website. People
Yeah.
should check out our
Yeah, our
website.
Which is down to
the roots VT.com.
Yeah.
Various specials come, and that 10% that we're talking about, the Uber local, is then on top of your 10% being a Vermonter. So
Right.
it starts adding up, and we know it's not cheap cannabis, so we try to pass along to our customers.
That's awesome.
So those events are coming up, and then we're closed on Thanksgiving, so we're going to be open Wednesday before, which we're normally not.
Very nice, which is the
So-
27th, if I've got my dates
Correct.
lined.
I'll
up.
leave that up
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah. I want to make a special shout out also on this episode too. It can't be said enough also too, like you guys mentioned the community support and everything,
Yeah.
but folks out there listening, that any way that you can also help out the local businesses here in the Okemo Valley community, because most of us, not all, but most of us are on Facebook and Instagram. Put like a positive post or tag them in their
Yeah.
accounts and everything,
Yep.
like a review and everything.
Yep.
It goes a long way because everybody is always on the internet and everything.
Right. And if anybody
Yeah.
wants to do cross promotions with us, we'll be listing them on our website. And
Absolutely.
we're grateful to Okemo Valley TV. Great for the community, not just government stuff, fun stuff like this. Maybe it's okay if we're here. I don't know. But
Oh, hey, let's give a shout out to
know.
Meredith, by the way, too.
shout out to
Yeah.
my wife, Meredith Milliken, and to you, Sammy B,
Yeah.
because you are just so wonderful for the community.
Thank you.
And you bring people and the community and businesses together.
Thank
and
you.
just love how much you love the area and how
Thank
much you post highlighting different businesses. And it's not about money, it's about love for you.
Right. Hey, like my boss Michael Bell says, I work for you guys.
There you go.
But in all reality, this is a beautiful community. We're so
Yeah.
fortunate how beautiful Vermont is. Again,
Yep.
even with some of the cons, I still think that
Yep.
for all of us, there's a lot more pros,
Yep.
I think, than there is cons.
Oh,
And
I
we're
have-
so, yeah. Oh, go for it.
I have
Yeah,
one
yeah.
more that we don't have a date yet, but because we're going to be lighting up Ludlow. We are going to be contributing lights to light up the downtown light posts.
Yep.
Doing it in concert with Ludlow Electric. Meredith and I are from here, but there's lots of talk of connecting the whole Okemo Valley, Ludlow to Chester. And so Down to the Roots is going to be lighting up Ludlow with Ludlow Electric. So I want to thank Ludlow Electric also. Keep an eye out for news about that. So there'll be a little ceremony probably or something. And then it'll be all winter because we want to give back to the community. That's awesome. What we're about.
That's awesome. Yeah. And make sure you guys are still on your same schedule so you get all the skiing and also.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then lastly but not least, two things left wrapping up on here. We're all entrepreneurs and business owners to some degree. Is there any motivational advice you want to give to the audience, whether it's career-wise or life-wise? Anything about not giving up or just, anything you could think of off the top of your head?
So definitely not giving up is huge, but also working with your community businesses and with your neighbors. You work with your neighbors in your community and not just in your own town, but also the neighboring towns. It goes a far way. It goes a distance, and you work together, not against each other.
Yeah.
We are in Vermont. We are a state of love and community. So as long as you show that and you show that with other business owners, it goes far.
And it's resilience, and don't be afraid to fail. Failure leads to growth and learning. Yeah. Learn from your failures. I mean, when I interviewed in the past with a corporate job, I noticed that young people wanted to hide their failures. I wanted them to highlight their failures and let me know what they learned.
Right.
I mean, I'm, doing mindfulness meditations to deal with some stuff when, in business and in life. And, we each have to be there for each other, and just, force yourself to have a smile, and listen to the customer. Yeah. But, don't take your first failure, your third failure, your fifth failure as I can't do this. Learn from those mistakes, put them together and figure out tweaking that, or if that's leading you a different business. Yeah. I mean, in cannabis, with the cannabis laws in different states, the only constant is change. You have to be adaptable. And you have to be adaptable in any new business. Absolutely. Or any time, especially as, in life and as an entrepreneur. Especially.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It creates a sense of a combination of accountability and responsibility from the human being perspective. And like I said, that's a really solid point. Like in the interview process, like, hey, okay, did you learn from that or that? That's pretty cool. And then in a way, that creates a better sense of communication and engagement and comfortability also too.
Right.
Sometimes when you proudly announce your failures, it's kind of like, okay, hey, now I can only go up from here.
Right.
Pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's nice is maybe you failed at somebody else's business.
Yeah.
Now you're not going to do that at our business.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I just think that was really important. And last but not least, Paul McCartney thanks you guys for your good efforts. Right? And
thank you, sir.
Anybody care to rub the Buddha's belly for good luck for the rest of the day?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cannabis and Zen.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. Scott and Andy, it's been a lot of fun. And thank you guys for being not just great to work with for my career, but just friends. Thank you for being great friends and for being on board with this also too. And wrapping things up here, if this is in fact for the winter and beyond, this is pre-recorded, but this is November 21st, 2024. When the mountain opens, yes, I'll be focusing my efforts on the mountain, and I've got at least 130 shows this winter, which is crazy. But a really special shout out once again, and as always, to Okemo Valley TV, to everybody here that encouraged me, put a fire under my ASS, for lack of better French, to help musicians and business owners just have another social media output on a YouTube link or on the Okemo Valley mobile app, and link it to okemovalley.tv and sammybmusic.com, just to kind of really just show folks coming to our community and really just also the world how important is musicians, retail owners, managers, bartenders, bud tenders, just working together. The Tasty Twist has been a play on words that relates to music references and also like, bud and food and taste and everything. And my goal for this podcast the entire time, and I hope that it's been successful on 41 episodes so far, and it will continue at another time. I hope that it's gained a lot of good traction to the guests and the community as far as raising awareness for musicians and platforms and everything. So from the bottom of my heart and my soul, thank you everybody the last 4 months, and especially the crew here at Okemo Valley TV for making this a very fun project. And guys, thanks for concluding. I'm going to say season 1 of the Tasty Choice.
All right, well, let's make it season 1 of many.
One of many. Yes.
Already listening. Let's make sure this continues.
Exactly.
Sammy B's been made for this.
Thank you very much.
This is great.
Yeah, and by the way, in the future also too, we are getting approved here at Okemo Valley TV for low power radio, so we can turn radio programming here also as well too for those that want to host a show and everything. So seriously, thank you everybody. This has been a lot of fun the last 4 months, and it will continue another time. Stay tuned for all the episode releases, okemovalley.tv, their YouTube channel, all that stuff. You'll hear about that at the end of the episode here. Thank you guys very much. I'm Sammy Blanchett. Peace and love. Catch you all next time. God bless.
Nice. Awesome.
Worry now, my darling. Woo! Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of the Tasty Twist with Sammy B. You can watch all the episodes of this podcast on Okemo Valley TV's YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. You can visit their website, okemovalley.tv, consider downloading their mobile app, or watch them on live television via VTEL, channel 166 and 167, Comcast 1076 and 1086. Are you interested in supporting a local media station? Please consider becoming a member today. Visit okemovalley.tv for more information.